Well, hello again, this is Leroy Hodge, and the reason for this video is to really give you a behind-the-scenes look at what we do as empowered entrepreneurs, and then also the X factor in that, if you will, in terms of what I personally bring to the table to embellish not only what the team provides, as well as any company that you associate yourself with. So think of this really as more of a generic introduction to online marketing and how you maximize the internet to really take advantage of any opportunity. So granted, we're talking about the Genewize opportunity, and in most cases when you start an opportunity, the company provides you with what's called a canned website, or a generic website, if you will. And everybody gets the same thing. And that's good if you're a beginner, but it doesn't give you the leverage that you want, as a true online entrepreneur, to do the kinds of things that you want, to be able to maximize, the search engines. I mean, everybody talks about that, and depending on your level of expertise in this, I hope I don't confuse you by using terminology that is confusing, or if you're an expert, then this is probably repetitive. But for the most part, I can venture to say that most people are not that well versed yet in how to maximize the internet from a different perspective, and that is from the perspective of an internet service marketeer or online marketeer. So, typically, like I say, you get these generic pages, but the internet, and let's back up and be a little bit retrospective. The internet is, what is the internet? It really is, one perspective is this body of content, right? Meaning there's stuff out there that people are looking for. Granted, there are applications and all kinds of systems and services, but from a marketing standpoint, typically what you're looking at is, how do I get my products and services in front of prospective customers? And so what are prospective customers doing? Well, they go on search engines, right? And Google being, the predominant one. But they start looking for stuff. So, that stuff can be, people are looking for, new and innovative home-based businesses, right? They may type in that name, or that term. Or they may type in specifically Genewize. So you, as an online entrepreneur then, the challenge that you have is, how do you anticipate what people are going to be searching for, and then how do you get your content, your marketing piece in front of them? So when people type in, everyone is familiar with this look, right? This is Google, and you type in your question or your search, and up pops the screen. It's very similar. Across the top and down the sides are the paid or sponsored ads, and in the middle is what's called more organic responses, if you will. And this is the free area. And your goal is to have a balance between the free area here as well as the paid area. And I'll explain a little bit more why that is important. So, then the question becomes now, how, I'm sure you're accustomed to using the internet and seeing this appear, but the burning question typically is, well, how did they do that? If you're an online entrepreneur, that's exactly what you're trying to figure out. And so that's what we bring to the table, and me specifically, as when using the experience I have, is showing you how to maximize this environment. Because, I'm sure you've heard it, it's called Google AdWords, or, pay-per-click marketing. It can be a very expensive endeavor if you don't know what you're doing, and therein lies the X factor. Is you've got to know what you're doing, and the best way to know what you're doing is to learn from someone else, and you can practice and learn, use the examples that we have, as well as the coaching that I provide personally, to really maximize this environment. So, given this body of content, somebody types in Genewize, you want to be on the first page. You want to be able to partake. Or maybe you don't want to be on the first page, and there's strategies around when, why you don't want to do that. Or you may want to be in this free organic search. So how do you create the content, the responses to these searches to get you in those positions? And that is a science in and of itself. But it's not as complicated as it may sound if you understand how to really streamline that and take advantage of it. And that's exactly what we bring to the table. So I know there are gurus out there by the minute, right? I mean, somebody goes out, they read an ebook, or find out a little technique here or there, and all of a sudden they're providing the expert in whatever it is, right? There's that, and then there's the true the real McCoy, so to speak. I mean, and that's what we bring to the table, is true experience around this area and show you how to maximize it. And so, typically in response to a search, you go to what's called a landing page. And then the question becomes, what goes on this landing page? It may be called a capture page or squeeze page, but typically it has, a place for you to fill in your name and address. But there's a science just behind that alone, because that's now that you've convinced somebody to click on your ad, now you got to start the selling process. And so the first step is to capture, information about that person, or some options are to just send them directly to your, your results. But if you want to build an online empire, so the way I like to look at it is, you want to start building your own online list, so that when the next great thing comes along, those people that were interested, they may not be interested beyond this point for this opportunity. And there's the operative word, this opportunity. But down the road, you can communicate with them via a series of emails, and then that's another area of online marketing that we teach is called autoresponders. If you're not familiar with that, and the autoresponder is going to become one of your best friends, because people don't buy based on necessarily one impression. It takes anywhere from 7 to 10 impressions, meaning responses and exposure to your opportunity, before they buy, and that's what autoresponders do. But then where do you get the messages from, and then what do you put in those messages? That's the other challenge if you're starting out, or even if you've got some experience with this. So again, you come into our forum and into our environment, and with my personal coaching, we out the gate give you a lot of this stuff that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, there's no starting from scratch with us when you come on board, or with me in particular. In this particular opportunity, the Genewize opportunity, we have got all of that in place already. So from day one, you're up and running, and not have to get into all the details about how you create this. But here is one. In fact, we've got several that you can choose from. The other thing that we are pushing very rapidly is hard is the use of video. Uploading it to YouTube or some of the other sites that are out there. But how do you create that video? How do you get it up there? And then how do you link it in? All of that is already pre-programmed for you. So again, I can't overemphasize how easy it's going to be part of our team. Then you go to a content page that gives them more information. Here's one example of, showing them, as part of the sales process, hey, look at all these baseball players and football players who are coming on board with Genewize, and how they're taking advantage of it. Their testimonials from scientists and things like that. What I've done is created this blog, and this blog gives you, it's really a website blog, if you will, because it's beyond, the functionality of a blog, but we'll show you exactly how to do that. We have a page that talks about, the Genewize opportunity, and how that, who are the various players involved in that. Here's a video report from Fox News. Here's another video report down here from Berkeley University. How do you integrate all of that as part of your online presence? Why I joined Genewize. You can give them information about yourself. You can give them information about the industry. Down the right side and left side, you can post articles, and that's all integrated. And so, we go beyond the typical, well, let's get a website up, and, hopefully people will come to it, and, here's a couple of pages here and there. We look beyond that, connecting into the social network, which is a whole other environment that, is growing rapidly on the internet. MySpace, YouTube, RSS feeds and e-zines and online, articles and newsletters. How do you bring that all together? One of the ways that we bring that together is by using something called tags or keywords and categories. And down the side here in this area, this is a whole area. There's some power behind this that is unbelievable, because what this allows you to do is to tie into the rest of the internet. And so when you publish an article in one of these categories, the Googles of the world and some of these article directories are looking for content in these areas. And so your content automatically gets out there, but more importantly, your message and your presence gets out there as well. So it gives you a real overview of the power and the depth to which we go. I don't want to dive in too far and confuse you, but you see that there's a huge difference between reading an ebook and really implementing this. Here's another site, Squidoo, and how you can write articles about that, your particular area, e-zine articles, and the list goes on and on and on. So I hope that gives you a taste, if you will, of what the difference is, what we bring to the table. And when you plug into us, you're truly becoming an online entrepreneur, not just necessarily for this one opportunity. You're going to build an asset, which is going to be your list. You're going to develop and understand a methodology that allows you to plug and play any business, especially online business, into that model.
Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.